Good afternoon, everybody. So I'm Stephanie Butler. I'm one of the coaches on Team Inspiration, this really great, awesome team. And so I thought I'd jump in here really quickly and share my story, which is very different from Micah's and anyone else that you have seen before. We all have really great stories and why we all started this. So my story with Beachbody started 9 years ago. I haven't been a coach that long, but my story started that long ago. I had just had my second baby and was looking to get back in shape, and as all moms are, I think. And my husband was watching an infomercial one night, and he was like, "Hey, I'm going to order this P90X, and if you want to do it with me, awesome. If you don't, that's fine." And I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" I had just been laid off from my job. It's 2 weeks after having my baby, and so it was like, sure, why not? I mean, I'm here with them all day, and then at night, when he gets home from work, then we can work out together. So it came in, we had all of our stuff, and back then, there wasn't anything like challenge groups and challenge packs, and like you bought everything separately. So we had our Shakeology separate, we had our P90X separate, like everything came as a separate entity. And so we, started once it came in. And our oldest daughter was, let me think about this. She was 2.5. And our youngest daughter was like 6 weeks old. And so, I had just gotten cleared to work out. Everything was good. Let's do it. So we did. We jumped in. We both lost crazy weight. That program was an hour long every night. And he didn't get home till late. And then we had the kids to feed and all that stuff, put everybody to bed. And back then, my oldest daughter, who's 12 now, but then was like, "I'm not going to bed. You're up doing something. I want to come play." And so, anyway, it would end up being 9:30 at night some nights that we would work out. But we did it every single night for an hour. And we were dragging some nights, but we did it. And so we got awesome results. And all my friends were like, "Oh my gosh, what are you doing? What are you doing?" And I was like, "P90X, this Beachbody thing." And so back then, like I said, if there was challenge groups, I didn't know about them. Like it was just, you worked out and you told people about it and everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, you look great." And I felt great, which was wonderful. So lost all the baby weight, did awesome. And then kind of fast forward a couple years, I ended up getting, I went to school for photography and started a photography business at home and worked while both of them were still little. And as they got older, I got more into fitness. I had always worked out my whole life because I have to. My body type is that I have to. But I had always worked out, but never really focused on like working out and nutrition at the same time. And so after having them, I started researching a little bit more and learning a little bit more and things like that, and was posting all my stuff. And so a couple years ago, I'd gotten to the point in photography where I was like, I love it, but I don't shoot for me anymore. I don't shoot for what I want to shoot for. I'm constantly at the computer. My kids are at school all day, which was great. I could work, but it was just a lonely business. My husband worked full-time away from the home. He now works at home, so it's a little bit better. But I was just home by myself all the time. So I just didn't realize how lonely I was. My friends worked, and so nobody could just come hang out with me during the day. Like, you don't get to do that. Everybody has a job. And so, but I would stay up late at night working, and I just kind of felt empty. I loved photographing people, but then once you come home and edit, it's like, okay, what do we do now? I worked out by myself. I had started training for a 5K because I'd never run in my life, and so I just did everything by myself. And so I was approached after posting all my stuff because I just thought, you know what, I'm going to share what I do online. And someone reached out to me, and in the meantime, I had been kind of praying, like, please. When I would run, it was just my time to pray. It was my time to be by myself and really focus and think about the things that I wanted out of my life and the things that I wanted for our future and for our girls. And I wasn't taught to eat well and work out as a young child. My parents worked full time, and so I took care of me and my brother, and I just didn't know what to do. And so I had to learn everything on my own. And in high school, I started weight training. That's kind of when the bug was like, oh yeah, this is fun. I like this. And then people notice that your body's changing. And a little bit of backstory is I was not the girl who had the boyfriends, not girlfriends. Well, I had lots of girlfriends, but they were, I was not the girl who had boyfriends. I did not get dates. I was a heavier kid. I didn't know how to eat. Very self-conscious. I wore clothes that were bigger because I didn't want anyone to see my stomach. My legs are short, so they always were thicker. I have a thicker butt, baby got back kind of thing. Not in a, I don't mean that in a bad way at all. I have embraced my butt now. But you know, when you're in 8th and 9th grade, you don't want anyone pointing out that you have a bigger butt than your friend. And people did. And so I had to learn how to not only eat and take care of myself, but then learn to love myself, like love the body that I was given. And there are days that, you know, still we're our own worst critic, but I do appreciate the body that I have. And so now let's go back to today. I wanted to, because we have 2 girls and one of them is built just like me, I wanted to instill in them the health benefits and to be strong and to be active and to be fit. They're both gymnasts, and there's nothing wrong with having muscles, and there's nothing wrong with being like strong as a girl. And so I wanted to learn all those things for them. So someone approached me about being a Beachbody coach. I've never stopped doing Beachbody programs from 9 years ago until now. I'm like Micah. I was a lifer. Like, we just rolled on to the next workout. I couldn't drink Shakeology for a little bit because I have some autoimmune issues that I couldn't for a while, but I have since healed my gut, and through eating, totally through eating. I am on no medication. So I have healed my gut, and I now have my Shakeology sitting right next to me, which is awesome. That was my goal, was to be healthier. And so that I don't want my kids to think mommy has to take a ton of medicine because she can't do this and she can't do that. And that just wasn't what I wanted, for me or for them to see. I wanted them to see a strong, healthy mom, because I am better for them when I do those things. So anyway, someone approached me about becoming a coach, and I was like, sure, why not? It's the off season of photography for me. I live in Georgia, and so for us, it's not a harsh cold winter, but when you live in Georgia, it's a harsh cold winter. Like, it's not an Idaho winter, it's not an up north winter, it's just, you know, we're sissies and it's cold. And it's not pretty. It's not a pretty landscape. It's just dead trees, and it's nothing pretty to look at. So nobody wants to go outside and have their pictures taken. So I was like, sure, why not? It's the lull of the season. And I started, you know, not having a clue what to do, because nobody does when you start. Like, you have to get mentored. And that's why we have this amazing group of women that I have never, ever, ever been blessed enough to know. Like, I don't know how I fell into this. So anyway, I started coaching and found that I loved it. I wasn't lonely anymore. I had all these people that I could talk to all day, and that I could converse with, and I could bounce things off of, and I could, you know, like I had all these friends now that, and granted, it took us a while to get to know each other, but some of us have never even seen each other, and we still encourage and love on each other and talk about each other's kids like we know them. And that was the part that I was missing with my photography. Remember when I said I kept praying for what would fulfill me, what was my purpose? Every time I ran, I think I skipped over that part. But when I would run, I would pray, what is my purpose? What am I meant to do? Because I'm a giver by nature, and I want to give everything I have, and all this knowledge that I had learned about nutrition and fitness and all these things, I wanted to give away. And then to find out that I could help people and give them those same great programs that I was doing and that had helped me and my family and my husband, was wonderful. Like, it fell in my lap, and it was wonderful. And so in the meantime of us doing all this, my husband decided to leave his corporate job and come home. He's an engineer, so he works from home now, and start his own thing with another partner. And so that was a struggle. That was a huge struggle, because I wasn't making a ton of money. We had decided that I would quit doing photography actively. I would passively, if someone asked, I would still do it, but I didn't just go pursue it anymore. And so he was not getting a steady paycheck either, you know, and so there was just stressful times, just times where it was like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? And so one day I'm driving home from taking my girls to school, and I was just, you could see it on my face. I'm not a very stressed person. I'm pretty like even keel and chill. But that day, for whatever reason, and at the time, let me preface all that with, I wasn't doing any personal development. Like, I didn't read any of that. I just thought, I'm good. Like, my mind is fine. My marriage is fine. My kids are fine. Like, I'm good. I don't need any of that. And so I was driving home from picking up my oldest daughter. They were in the same school at the time. So this was just a year and a half, 2 years ago. And I remember her getting in the car, and I'm trying to put on this really happy face because I'm trying not to let her know how stressed I am and how worried I am and how concerned I am. And she gets in the car and she's like, "Hey, Mommy, guess what?" No, I'm sorry. She goes, "Mommy, guess what?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, what, honey?" And she said, "I didn't make it into the talent show." And I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And then she was like, "Oh, I'm just kidding. I made it. I got a spot." And immediately tears, like boo-hooing. And I'm trying not to let them know I'm crying because, of course, you know, they're girls and they're very intuitive. They're like, "Mommy, why are you upset?" So I'm trying not to let them know. And I'm like, "Honey, that is awesome. I'm so excited for you." And in my head, I'm thinking, never again. Never do I want to miss that moment again. Because my mom couldn't be home with me. She had to work full time. And so, I don't tell this story very often. And so never again did I want to not hear her good news when I got in the car. Never again did I not want to hear how excited she was for something that she got to do. I don't like to cry either. So every day I still get to pick my girls up from school, and I get to be there when they have big events and all that stuff. And it's because of this. This brings me way more money and way more consistency and way more time that I get to spend with my girls. And my youngest daughter, my girls are in different schools now. One's in middle school, one's in elementary school. And so my youngest daughter gets to sit next to me and listen to me talk to my clients and hear all of their great news, you know, that they've lost and that they're succeeding and all that stuff. And then my oldest daughter, we talk about, she listens to personal development with me in the morning, and we get to talk about all those great things. And so it's just giving me a different freedom with my kids than I had before. And photography gave me that, but I was gone a lot. I had to go photograph people, you know? And so this gives me the ability to, yes, I do work from my phone, but a lot of times it's because they're doing something else and they know Mommy's going to work for a minute and then we're going to go do something fun. And so I just knew at that moment I never ever wanted to miss something in their life that my mom still regrets missing an hour. She just told me yesterday, there's so many things I wish I could have done differently, but I couldn't. Financially, I couldn't, and there weren't things like this back then that she knew how to do. And so I get to spend every day with my husband. I eat breakfast every day with my husband. I get to be with my kids when he's out of town because he has to travel for his job still. And so it has been a huge blessing. And I worked a corporate job. This is just a little backstory about when I left at having my first daughter. I worked a corporate job, and I promised myself I would never, ever want to have to ask my husband for money for a present for him. So when I had my job way back when, we decided when we had our oldest daughter that I would leave. It was a long drive and we didn't want her in daycare. And there was a little moment where I didn't have anything for Steph anymore. I was mom and I was wife and that was it. Like I didn't have anything that was me. And so I kind of felt a little lost. He felt a little lost. We were newly married, new parents. Like we had no clue what to do with all this new status, you know? And then here I went from having a nice income to now we rely on his. And if I wanted to go out to eat, I had to ask him because I didn't have my money anymore. And so I promised myself I wouldn't do that again because I didn't want to have to say, honey, can I go buy you a present for your birthday out of your money? Like that's kind of, and I know people do it and there's nothing wrong with that. I just didn't want to have to do that. That felt like, well, hey, let's just go pick out your present together. Like he loves surprises. I love surprises. We love giving gifts to each other. And I wanted to be able to do that for him. And so Beachbody does that for me. It allows me to have my money that doesn't have to come out of our household money, that pays for my girls' gymnastics. They're both competitive and it's expensive. To pay for someone to clean our house so that I can sit and work all the times that I want to work and be very intentional and you know, be with my kids when I maybe should be cleaning the house. It allows me to have those little freedoms. Have I started making money that I can, you know, pay for a car yet? No, but I haven't done this long enough and I haven't given it the time and attention. This year I've given it the time and attention because I see all the differences it's made. Like all those little bitty things have added up to like this profound aha moment for me. And so my goal now is to be able to buy my husband a boat. We just bought a lake lot this year, and my goal is to buy him a boat, and I'm going to work really hard for that. So it's fun for me to get to have goals of my own that benefit our family, if that makes sense. And so it's fun because I have challengers who tell me how wonderful they're doing. And I had a girl message me the other day about how great she feels. And the best part about her messaging me was I met her. She doesn't live near me. She lives in Indiana, I think. Little bitty tiny town in Indiana. And she met me online. And the second I talked to her from that first day, she was just like, Stephanie, I hope I can do this. I'm going to try to stick to it. I'm not very good at sticking, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we're 30 days into this, and her after pictures are incredible. But what was better was the voice message she sent me. And she's like, I have this green bathing suit that I kept from having my kids, and I never ever thought I'd even want to put it on. And after doing this, and after you encouraging me and you helping me along the way every step, 30 days later, I see the possibility of putting a bikini on in my 40s. Never did I think I'd do that again. And I'm like, yes, that's it. That's why I do this. So much like all these other coaches have said, it's not every day for me about the money. I'm like Micah. I don't know every week what gets put in my bank account. I don't know exactly what we make as coaches per challenge pack, but I know how many people tell me how great they're doing, and I know how many people reach out to me now because I show up every day, I'm consistent, and I love on these ladies like they're my best friends because I want to see them succeed. Someone wanted to see me succeed enough to put something into helping me, and so now I want to give that back. And I want to show my girls that you can help other people in life, and it doesn't have to have a monetary value all the time. I mean, yes, of course, we get paid for it, and my girls know that. But there's a bigger picture there, and I want them to have a giving heart. I want them to know what it's like to help another human being succeed and how good that feels. I always equate this job to being the best part of a mom. It's the best parts of seeing someone succeed and see someone overcome goals and overcome obstacles and reach their goals, and then their confidence. Like watching my kids' confidence grow in school and in life is, I mean, as a mom, it's like wearing your heart right here. Seeing these women succeed, and 40-year-old women, I'll be 43 this year. So seeing women my age who've struggled for so long now have confidence and say, my husband sees it. And I walk around and I feel it. Y'all, that is life-changing. That is life-changing, not only for them, but for me. And so I love this. I love this community. I love these girls. I love everything about what I do in this business. And like I said, my story is not as profound as some of the other ones as far as, monetary gains and different things like that. But all of that comes in time. But for right now, it filled a purpose. It filled every single ounce of what my soul was missing. And it lets me do something I love. I love nutrition and fitness because it has changed my health. My health was not very good. I have been sick for a long, long time, and no one can figure out what it is. And since I was 18, I have struggled with stomach issues and too many things to name. But this year, I decided that I was going to make it better through nutrition and fitness, and no other medication was going to help. And I've done it. And I'm a testament that helping someone else do that through nutrition and food, and food is nutrition, but through a healthier lifestyle, personal development, just having a well-rounded life all the way can change you in so many, many ways. So anyway, I'm done rambling. I don't want to cry again, and I still have to go live somewhere else. So thanks for hanging out with us. I'll be back tonight, actually, after some of our other coaches talking about objections and myths and things that you tell yourself that you can't do this as a coach. And so we're going to get rid of those for you. So, all right, y'all have an awesome rest of your afternoon. I'll see you later tonight.